Dopamine is the productivity scam you fell for, the ultimate focus reset. You wait for motivation, scroll for a spark, and end up stuck in the same self-blame loop. You're not lazy, your brain's incentive system is mistimed. It rewards progress after you start, not before. So chasing a motivation first feeling kills momentum. Here's the real trap. Your brain discounts future rewards. A draft finished tonight feels distant, a reel pays now. That's temporal discounting. Add loss aversion and it's worse. Starting risks feeling dumb, failing, or wasting time, so you avoid to dodge that pain. Scrolling wins because it offers guaranteed immediate micro-rewards with no risk. Neuroscience explains it. Novelty and variable rewards spike dopamine through prediction errors. Your brain gets a bump when something is slightly better than expected. Feeds are engineered for that. New clip, new comment, new notification. Ambiguous work has fuzzy payoffs, so the dopamine curve is flat until you make visible progress. Action first, chemistry second. Here's the fix. I'll give you a 60-second reset you can use right now, plus a 7-day plan to flip motivation on demand. You'll feel noticeably more focused in 24 hours and build reliable momentum in a week. And there's a trigger stack that makes starting automatic. Once you install it, beginning hard tasks stops being a debate. The 60-second reset you can use now. Quick reframe: action creates motivation, not the other way around. Once you move, your brain senses progress and turns the motivation dial up. Waiting to feel ready keeps the dial off. Here's the tension you'll recognize. You open the laptop just to check one thing, bounce between tabs, and feel that slow dread of another wasted hour. You promise you'll start at the top of the hour, then again at 15, then again at 30. The clock is moving, your project is. That gap, time passing without a receipt, is what drains motivation. Let's flip it in under 2 minutes. Here's the 2-minute ignition. Set a 120-second timer. Your only job is the smallest physical step that produces a visible result. Not planning, not organizing, movement that leaves a trace. Why this works? 2 levers fire together. First, prediction error. When reality beats your brain's low expectation, dopamine bumps and says, do that again. Second, visible progress. Your eyes see a change, a line on the page, a file renamed, which your brain treats as proof. Small win, better than expected chemical nudge. That's the loop. Pick a task and shrink it to a micro-commit with a visible win. Writing, type 1 sentence in the open document. Email, write the subject line and a single sentence draft. Messy folder, move one file where it actually belongs. Coding, create a new branch and add a comment. Studying, open the book to the page and highlight one definition. You're aiming for a micro-commit plus a visible win. The visible part is key because your brain recognizes change better than intention. A line on the page, a file moved, a checkbox ticked, these are progress signals. They trigger that keep going feeling. Common mistakes to avoid. Picking a start that's too big. Outline the chapter is still a plan. Write one line under the first subheading is a start. Mixing planning with starting. Planning feels productive but produces no immediate signal. Do the first physical move, then plan for 2 minutes if you want. Hiding the progress. If your win isn't visible, your brain doesn't care. Externalize it. A done list, a version bump, a tiny commit, a timestamp note. Let me give you a quick win example you can try today. You've got 13 open tabs and a half-written draft you've been avoiding because the desk looks like a garage sale. Microtension. You need a clean start, but cleaning turns into organizing, and organizing turns into more delay. Set your 120-second timer. First 30 seconds. Move only what's in your typing zone, keyboard, mouse, and a sheet of paper. Everything else gets pushed aside, not organized. Next 30 seconds. Open your document and rename it from draft to V1. Final 60 seconds. Type the first line you already know, maybe it's the hook, a stat, or just, this article explains X for Y. When the timer dings, you've created 3 progress signals: a cleared typing zone, a new version number, and a line on the page. That tiny, better than expected shift triggers a prediction error bump, and 9 times out of 10, you'll keep typing for a few more minutes because momentum is already in motion. This clicks when you realize your brain rewards progress, not promises. So start with a move that your eyes can see and your tools can register. If you remember nothing else, remember 120 seconds, one verb, one visible win. Now, why does this work? And how do we scale it into deep focus sessions without burning out? That's where we map the path. Map the journey, what we're doing today. We're going to build this the smart way so you can use it immediately and keep it for good. The path has 4 parts: fix now, understand, system, and a 7-day protocol. First, you've already got the fix now, the 60-second reset and the 2-minute ignition. Next, we'll expose the scam, why waiting for motivation kills momentum. Then we'll use the brain lever, progress signals that drive dopamine. After that, we'll design low-friction action triggers and a trigger stack that makes starting automatic. Then we'll run the first 10 minutes protocol to convert starts into flow. We'll add the friction thermostat so you control difficulty based on energy, not mood. And finally, I'll give you a 7-day focus reset to lock this in. Here are the sections coming up: the scam, the brain lever, action triggers, the trigger stack from start to flow, the friction thermostat, the 7-day protocol, advanced tactics, and troubleshooting. I'll drop checkpoints along the way with quick rehooks and give you lightweight tools to download, done lists, versioning templates, and if-then scripts. Anchor your outcome now. By the end of this video, you'll be able to start consistently without waiting to feel ready. Turn the first 10 minutes into real output. See visible wins that make motivation a byproduct. Reduce guilt because you'll measure starts and progress, not vibes. Now here's the setup you need to hear before we scale. You were sold a dopamine story that sounds nice but backfires in daily work. The truth is simpler. Your brain pays you after it sees progress. So if you've been waiting to start, you've been waiting for a reward that comes only after movement. Let's expose the dopamine scam and replace it with a system that actually fires. The dopamine scam, why waiting kills momentum. Most of us were taught to chase motivation like it's a fuel you fill up on before you drive. Here's the problem: your brain isn't a gas tank, it's a scoreboard. It releases the good stuff when it sees points on the board. No points, no payoff. So when you wait to feel motivated, you're literally waiting for a reward that only shows up after you start moving. Let's break why the motivation first model fails. Your brain runs on predictions. It asks, what's the reward, how likely, how soon? When a task is ambiguous, like finish the project or start the chapter, the prediction is fuzzy. Fuzzy reward means weak drive. So your brain does something sneaky. It defaults to novelty because novelty has a predictable, immediate hit. Scroll, snack, check messages, fast, reliable rewards. That's the anticipation trap. You chase a feeling about the work instead of progress in the work. Add the pain math your brain silently runs. Loss aversion means potential losses loom larger than equivalent gains. Avoiding embarrassment or failure often feels twice as important as earning a small win. At the start of an uncertain task, your brain overweights, what if this goes badly, relative to what if this goes well. That tilts you towards safe micro-rewards with guaranteed payoff, scrolling, and away from ambiguous moves with uncertain payoff, starting. Avoidance feels rational because it immediately reduces perceived threat. Now here's where timing kills momentum. Those dopamine spikes you think you need, they're tied to progress signals and prediction errors, moments when reality beats what you expected. That bump doesn't show up for sitting still thinking about doing it. It shows up when a line appears on the page, a file gets moved, a compile succeeds, a box gets ticked. Action first, chemistry second. When you get this wrong, you set up a mise-timed loop. No action, no progress signal, no dopamine, more avoidance. And the avoidance isn't just practical, it's emotional. You feel guilt for not starting, so you avoid to reduce the discomfort, which creates micro-escapes. Quick hits that reduce anxiety now and deepen the hole later. The loop becomes guilt, right arrow avoidance, right arrow micro-escape, bigger guilt. Fold in sunk cost thinking and it tightens. The more time you've lost, the more shame you feel, and the harder it is to re-enter because returning would force you to face the accumulated cost. That's the sunk cost trap applied to time and identity. I've already blown it, so I might as well keep avoiding. Shame fuels more avoidance, which demands more micro-escapes to numb it. That's why you can feel exhausted after a day of nothing. Your brain worked hard dodging pain and farming tiny rewards. Intrinsic versus extrinsic fuel also matters. Extrinsic motivators, Grades like praise can spark short bursts but often increase performance anxiety at the start, especially under ambiguity. Intrinsic motivators, curiosity, mastery, contribution, tend to sustain effort, but they still need early proof. When the first step produces a visible, meaningful change, you create a quick intrinsic hit. This is moving. Instead of chasing extrinsic signals, will this be good enough for others? Your goal is to use tiny, honest progress to flip the motivational source from extrinsic pressure to intrinsic momentum. So what does a better loop look like? Cue right arrow tiny action, right arrow progress signal, right arrow motivation. That second step is microscopic on purpose. Your brain needs something it can see to pay you. When the outcome is visible, the internal narrative shifts from I'm failing to I'm progressing, and the chemistry follows. That's the brain lever you just used with the 2-minute ignition, and we're going to scale it. Let's name the emotional cycle precisely so you can break it. Anticipatory threat, loss aversion. If I start, I might fail or feel dumb. Avoidance to reduce threat. You delay, which immediately lowers anxiety. Micro-escape, quick dopamine from novelty, food, or messages. Shame spike, I'm behind, which raises perceived threat further. Sunk cost rationalization, I've wasted so much time, what's the point? Repeat. The exit ramp is the smallest visible move that creates a countersignal, a receipt your brain can't argue with. A single sentence, a version bump, a commit. That replaces anticipatory threat with concrete feedback and shifts the loss-gain balance in your favor. Now here's where most people mess up. They glamorize routines instead of respecting friction. They copy a perfect morning stack off the internet, feel great for 2 days, then crash when energy dips. Why? Because the plan assumes high clarity, low friction, and stable energy, basically a unicorn day. Real days vary. If your system relies on feeling great first, it's a fragile system. Another miss, over-planning. Planning feels productive because it reduces uncertainty, but at the start, it rarely produces a progress signal. Your brain can't cache intentions, it caches receipts. You need visible outcomes early, then planning. That order matters. It's why outline the chapter stalls, while write one line under the first subheading often unlocks the outline naturally. Chasing perfect energy is the third trap. You wait for a vibe that's inconsistent by design. Energy fluctuates with sleep, stress, food, and timing. Build around friction you can control, not moods you can't. Action triggers beat affirmations because they eliminate decisions. Less choice equals more starts. Let me show you the payoff of the better loop in daily life. You sit down to write. Old loop, am I ready? Do I have the perfect angle? Maybe I need one more source. 15 minutes later, you've researched a topic you're not using. New loop, you open the doc at sentence 1, rename V to V1, and type the ugliest first line you can tolerate. That's 2 immediate progress signals and 1 tiny bet. Your brain registers motion, you feel a slight lift, and now your planning brain actually has fresh material to organize. The desire to keep going is a byproduct, not a prerequisite. Why does this work? Because progress is information. When your brain detects better than expected, it reinforces the behaviors that caused it. That's the teaching signal at play. You don't need a perfect result, you need a real result. Small wins beat big intentions because they're legible. Invisible work, thinking, arranging apps, tweaking fonts, doesn't register as progress. If your work has to be invisible for a bit, create a proxy, a done list, a version bump, a micro commit. Externalize the change so your brain can see it. If you remember nothing else here, remember this sequence. Clarity beats hype, movement beats mood, visibility beats memory. Stop waiting for motivation to open the door. Use a tiny action to open it and let motivation walk in after. Now that you see why timing is everything, let's flip the switch that reliably feeds that progress signal. We'll use the brain's lever, not fight it. The brain lever, progress signals drive dopamine. Before we build systems, you need the switch that actually powers them. The thing most people miss is this. Dopamine increases with perceived progress, not intention. Your brain isn't moved by, I plan to, it's moved by, I just did. The reason this works is tied to a teaching signal in your brain that compares what you expected to what actually happened. When reality beats expectation, you get a chemical nudge to repeat the behavior that caused it. Here's the neuroscience in one sentence. Midbrain dopamine neurons encode reward prediction errors, how outcomes differ from what you expected. When an outcome is better than predicted, firing increases. When worse, it dips. This mechanism, mapped in classic primate studies by Wolfram Schultz and colleagues in the 1990s and 2000s, explains why slightly better than expected, visible progress produces a motivational bump without needing a giant win. You're exploiting the same prediction update loop, but on purpose. This is also where confidence grows. Self-efficacy, the belief that you can execute a behavior to produce a desired outcome, rises with mastery experiences, the smallest successful reps. Each honest, visible win updates your internal model from "I'm stuck" to "I can move this." That belief lowers perceived effort cost on the next attempt, which makes starting easier again. In other words, small wins don't just feel good, they train your brain to expect that your actions work. So what counts as a progress signal? 3 buckets. First, completion signals. Something goes from not done to done in a way you can't argue with: submitted form, sent email, compiled code. Second, visible change. The world looks different now than it did 1 minute ago. Line added to a doc, version number advanced, table populated, physical pile reduced. Third, external acknowledgement. The outside world reflects your action: commit logged, checkmark recorded, teammate reacts, timestamp captured. If you remember nothing else, remember those buckets: done, changed, acknowledged. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Make progress obvious. Externalize everything you can so your brain sees it without effort. That means a done list you add to as you work, not a to-do you shame yourself with. That means versioning files V1, V11 so every save is a micro upgrade. That means physical moves: sticky note peeled, box moved, whiteboard line struck. The less your brain has to infer progress, the more it will reinforce it. Let me show you exactly how to engineer this. Start with a living done today log pinned on your desktop. Every micro outcome lands there as you complete it. V1 created, 3 lines drafted, invoice sent. Next, use versioning to manufacture closure. Rename files when you start, not when you finish. V means idea blob, V1 means first pass exists, V11 means refined a segment. In code, commit early with messages like init scaffolding, add header copy, so each push is a receipt. For knowledge work, create tiny DMOS. A screenshot of a chart, a clip of a scene, a table filled with 3 rows, you're making the invisible visible. Public microposts can help too when appropriate. I don't mean performative threads, I mean lightweight check-ins to a teammate or accountability partner. Draft V1, created 700 words. That external timestamp becomes a mirror. The brain loves mirrors. Now the loop that matters. Visible progress right arrow positive prediction error right arrow dopamine bump right arrow easier next start right arrow higher self-efficacy right arrow bolder micro outcome right arrow more visible progress. Confidence isn't a speech you give yourself. It's the statistical record your brain keeps. Keep the loop honest and small enough to win daily, and belief compounds. Now here's where most people mess up. They bury progress inside setup. They spend an hour getting ready and have nothing to show. Endlessly configuring tools, reorganizing Notion, researching fonts, none of this produces a closure moment. Invisible work starves the lever. If setup is necessary, force it to create a visible delta. Project scaffold created, environment variables set, template duplicated and dated. Every step gets a receipt. Another trap is no closure moments. You slog for 2 hours in a giant file with no markers. The effort's real, but your brain can't find the beats. Fix it by chunking. Define 1 unit of done that takes 5-15 minutes and stamp each unit upon completion. Cross a line. Add a V11 tag. Drop a commit. You're creating rhythmic reinforcement so motivation doesn't have to be summoned, it's earned. Okay, so the tricky part is keeping the signal honest. Don't fake it with busy work trophies. Checking boxes that don't move the project will feel hollow fast. The brain detects whether the progress ties to the goal. Keep your signals meaningful and minimal. A good test. If you vanish tomorrow, would the next person see the change and know what advanced? If yes, that's a valid signal. Here's a quick application you can try today. Writing, open your doc, rename to V1, add a 3-line outline and bold the first subheading. Add V1, plus 3-line skeleton to your done today. Coding, create a branch feature login skeleton, scaffold the form, push with init login skeleton, paste the commit hash into your log. Studying, open Chapter 3, highlight one key term, write a 2-sentence summary in a separate Chapter 3 summaries doc and mark C3S1 created in your log. Each of these produces completion, visible change, and acknowledgement in one move. Why this clicks? Your brain updates its prediction when it sees the world change in your favor. Those updates accumulate. You go from this is hard to this is moving, and your effort sensitivity drops, less internal resistance per unit of work. Once you nail that, everything else clicks because starting becomes self-reinforcing. Common mistakes to avoid: endless setup, hidden progress in giant files, no micro-closures, and using planning as a proxy for doing. The fix is simple: one verb, one visible win, one recorded receipt, and boom, look at that result. A tiny nudge turns into a streak. Before we continue, you need to understand, we're not hunting motivation, we're manufacturing it with engineered proof. Next, we'll build low-friction action triggers so the first move happens even on low-energy days. Low-friction action triggers, the starter pack. Let's make the first move automatic. Action triggers are preloaded cues that force a tiny, physical start with zero debate. Think of them as rails for your future self. Less or equal to 10 seconds to start, one verb only, no decisions required. There are 5 trigger types you can use and combine. Place triggers anchor the action to a location state. Example, your writing doc opens to sentence 1, not a blank page. Your laptop boots to a single app in full screen. Your sketchbook lives on the desk, pen uncapped. Shoes by the door with socks tucked in counts. If you sew, the machine stays threaded with scrap fabric under the foot. The environment whispers the next verb. Time triggers put a stake in the day. Set a specific, odd time so it stands out. 9:01 camera on, 1:11 stand and stretch, 7:42 open the textbook. Use a calendar alert that contains the exact verb, 9:01 join room plus write one sentence. If the reminder can be snoozed, set it to repeat every minute for 5 minutes. The clock becomes the cue. Your job is to run the 10-second action. Social triggers recruit other humans. A daily cowork block, a 2-line check-in to a buddy, or a lightweight done room where people post a single receipt, not a play-by-play. Sent V1. Logged 100 words. The presence is the trigger. The price of admission is your micro-output. No coaching needed, just proof. Device triggers leverage your tech defaults. Remove logins from the first task app, pre-open tabs you need, kill everything else. Map a hotkey that opens exactly the file you'll touch. Turn on Do Not Disturb with a focus mode that only allows your trigger app. If you write, your computer wakes to the dock with the cursor at the first line. If you code, a script creates a fresh branch on boot. Body triggers are anchored to a movement or sensation. Sit, breathe twice, hands on home row. Stand, exhale, start the first rep open book, finger lands on the first definition. The motion cues the verb. Pair it with a micro-sensory reward like a sip of coffee or a single stretch after the first visible win. Here are the design rules that keep triggers working when energy dips. The start should take 10 seconds or less, truly. One verb only: open, type, move, press, run, no decisions. If your trigger requires choosing a task, it's not a trigger, it's a meeting with yourself. Pre-decide the verb the night before and attach it to a cue you can't miss. Let me give you clean examples across domains. Writing, place trigger, doc open to sentence 1 and V1. Header already inserted, time trigger 9:01 open and type 8 words, body trigger sit 2 breaths, type the first ugly line. Studying, device trigger, tablet opens straight to chapter 3 with highlights on, time trigger 7:42 highlighter touches 1 term, social trigger, post a 2-sentence summary to a class channel. Coding, device trigger, hotkey opens repo and runs dev server. Place trigger, terminal launches in feature branch folder. Time trigger 13 create branch, fix billing totals and add a TODO. Fitness, place trigger, shoes by the door with laces loose. Body trigger, 1 squat immediately. Time trigger 18:00 step outside and walk to the end of the block. Anti-friction upgrades make these bulletproof. Strip away logins and passwords from starter tools with a password manager. Keep the exact starter file pinned and renamed so you aren't hunting. Pre-open tabs and close everything unrelated. Put materials in the path of motion. The book on your chair, not the shelf, the tripod set to your standing height. Prep at night so morning, you only executes. Common mistakes will sneak in if you let them. Multi-step starts kill momentum. Open Notion, check tasks, pick one, create a page is 4 decisions before motion. Vague language like work on draft invites negotiation. Replace it with type 8 words. Hidden blockers stall you, dead batteries, missing cables, expired sessions. Hunt these once and eliminate them permanently. Quick test, can your trigger fire if you feel 40%? If not, shrink it. Make the first move laughably small and visible. You're not trying to finish, you're trying to cross the action threshold. Here's a micro story. A student kept missing morning writing. We changed nothing about the goal, just the triggers. Place, laptop slept with the dock open and V1. Stamped. Time, 7:33 alarm labeled type 12 words repeating every minute for 3 minutes. Body, sit 2 breaths type the ugliest first sentence. We removed login prompts and auto-launched focus mode. In a week, starts went from 2 to 9, average session length doubled. Same brain, lower friction. Once you nail low friction triggers, everything else clicks. The game changer nobody talks about is redundancy. Pair 2 or 3 trigger types so if one fails, another fires. That's your first taste of a trigger stack, and next, we'll chain them to make starting automatic every day. The trigger stack makes starting automatic. Here's the upgrade. We're going to chain 3 micro triggers so momentum becomes the default. Think of it like a fuse, a spark, and a confirmation ping. The template is simple. Cue, 10-second action, visible progress, mini reward. When one link fires, the next one becomes easier. If a link breaks, we swap it, not the whole chain. Start with the cue. Pick one you can't miss, place, time, or body. Then define a single 10-second action that requires no decisions. Follow it with a guaranteed visible progress signal. End with a mini reward that says, "Good, keep going," without derailing you. That's the cycle you'll repeat until it's automatic. Let's build it. Pair a place trigger with a time anchor and a body move. Place, your environment presents the file you'll touch, not a dashboard. Time, an odd-minute alarm labels the exact verb. Body, a brief movement that cues hands-on. For redundancy, add a device script to open the file and focus mode so distractions can't hijack the chain. Here's a writing stack. Cue, laptop wakes to the draft in full screen with V1, already stamped. Time, 9:01 alarm reads type 12 words. Action, sit 2 slow breaths, place fingers on home row. Visible progress, type the first ugly sentence and bold the first subheading. Mini reward, tick 12 words on your done today log and take a sip of coffee. If the sentence doesn't come, type today I'm writing about X for Y because Z and move on. Studying stack. Cue, tablet opens straight to chapter 4 with the last highlight visible. Time, 7:42 alert says highlight 1 definition. Action, open book, finger lands on the first key term. Visible progress, highlight 1 term and write a 2-sentence summary in a C4 summaries doc. Mini reward, stand, stretch once, mark C4 S1 added in your log. If you stall, switch to copying the definition verbatim, motion beats mood. Coding stack. Cue, Hockey opens repo and launches dev server in a branch named feature onboarding. Time, 13:30 note says create branch plus add TODO. Action, create the branch and paste a TODO marker in the file you'll touch. Visible progress, commit init onboarding skeleton and push. Mini reward, check the commit hash into your done today and breathe out. If the server fails, log end fixed as a separate receipt so the chain still pays you. Workout stack. Cue, shoes by the door with socks tucked in and playlist queued. Time, 18:00 alert reads put shoes on. Action, laces on 1 squat. Visible progress, step outside and walk to the end of the block, log block lap. Mini reward, tiny water sip or 1 song. If weather blocks you, swap stairs for 1 minute. The goal is the chain, not the perfection. Design rules make these stacks resilient. Each link should require no thought. The action is the smallest verb that still creates a visible change. The mini reward is short and consistent, a check mark, a Pomodoro ding, a breath, a sip, not a 5-minute victory lap. And the whole chain should be executable at 40% energy. If you need 80% to start, it's too heavy. Now here's where most people mess up. They stack decisions instead of actions. Open Task Manager, choose a task, outline the plan. That's 3 choices before movement. Replace with a pre-decided verb attached to a file that's already open. They also choose rewards that steal the session. One quick scroll becomes 10 minutes. Keep the reward sensory and brief. Finally, they hide the progress signal in a giant document. Build micro-closures. Bold a subheading, add a version tag, drop a commit. Troubleshooting is part of the game. If a link breaks, ask which one: queue, action, progress, or reward. No queue, add redundancy, place plus time plus device. Action too big, shrink it to a laughable verb. No visible progress, add an explicit receipt, version bump, commit, or log. Reward too distracting, swap it for a breath, a check mark, or a short sound. Keep iterating until the chain fires under stress. Let me give you fast swaps. If the time trigger fails because meetings shift, attach the stack to a routine anchor. After coffee or after lunch. If the place trigger fails because you travel, store a portable kit. A synced doc link, a single hotkey, and a one-page template. If the device trigger fails, dead battery, expired login, pre-test nightly, and keep backup power in your bag. One-time fixes pay dividends. Micro story: a developer struggled to start after lunch. We built a stack. Place terminal auto opens in yesterday's branch. Time 13:07 alert, add 1 TODO. Body, hands on keyboard, 2 breaths. Progress, add TODO and commit scaffold settings, push. Reward, checkmark plus sip. Starts jumped from 3 a week to 5 a week with the same workload. The only change was the chain. Once you feel a reliable chain, add a second one later in the day, not bigger, just as dependable. Starts compound. And now that you can start on command, we'll convert that start into real flow without burning out. From start to flow, the first 10 minutes protocol. The first 10 minutes decide the session because they set the rules your brain will follow. If the opening is decision-heavy and invisible, you'll drift. If it's motion-first and visible, resistance drops and momentum builds. We'll use the 3-3-4 method: 3 minutes of setup that create immediate progress, 3 minutes of output only, and 4 minutes to expand what you just made. No research, no formatting, no fixing. Output only. One decision, then run. Here's the shape. Minute 0, decide one micro outcome, not work on the draft. Pick one, add a 3-line intro, write problem paragraph 1, code the function header, summarize page 2. The one decision rule means you choose once, then stop negotiating. Write it at the top of your doc or sticky. Outcome, 3 sentences that explain the problem. Now the first 3 minutes, set up without thinking. But setup has to leave a trace. For writing, bump version v11 and bold the first subheading you'll touch. For coding, create a branch and paste a TODO where you'll write. For studying, open the chapter and create a C3 notes block with today's date. If you can't see a change in the file, it doesn't count. By minute 3, you've got a receipt, not just intention. Minutes 4 through 6 are output only. This is the heart. You type words you'll keep or delete later, but you don't switch tabs, no research. If you need a fact, drop a bracket like stat here and keep going. No formatting. Ugly is allowed. Your job is to produce raw material connected to the single micro outcome. If your brain stalls, copy the prompt and answer it bluntly. This section explains X because Y, so you can Z momentum over elegance. Minutes 7 through 10. Expand. You're not starting something new, you're adding one layer to what exists. Add 2 details, 1 example, or a transition. In code, fill a stub with the simplest version and add a test name. In studying, convert your 2-sentence summary into 3 bullets and 1 question. Expansion keeps you in the same lane, which sustains flow without inviting complexity. Guardrails keep this crisp. No research in the first 10 minutes. Research is gasoline, but it leaks everywhere at the start. Park it. No formatting. Pretty fonts don't score points. No fixing, you'll want to polish. Don't. Fixing is a separate pass. Right now, we're building clay. If you catch yourself drifting, read your written micro outcome out loud once and continue. Let me show you exactly how this plays out for writing. Minute 1, rename draft to V11 and bold problem. Minute 2, write outcome, 3-sentence problem. Minute 3, type hook, you wait for motivation as a seed. Minutes 4 to 6, write 3 blunt sentences explaining the problem. Minutes 7 to 10, add 1 example and a transition line to the next section. Log V11 plus problem para in done today. That's a complete visible block in 10 minutes. Coding example. Minute 1, create branch feature profile card. Minute 2, add a file profile card, JSX with a TODO render name plus avatar. Minute 3, commit init profile card skeleton. Minutes 4 to 6, write the minimal component and export it. Minutes 7 to 10, pass static props and render once, add a placeholder test name. Commit render static profile card, push. Log the commit hash. You now have running code and a breadcrumb for next time. Studying example. Minute 1, open chapter 5, create C5 notes 2025-12-12. Minute 2, write outcome, define term A in 2 sentences. Minute 3, find the term header and highlight it. Minutes 4 to 6, write the 2-sentence definition in your notes in your own words. Minutes 7 to 10, add 1 example and 1 quiz question. Mark C5A defined. That's active recall started, not passive scanning. Common traps, context switching, just checking messages and scope creep. If you feel the itch to check, note it in brackets and keep typing. If your micro outcome balloons, slice it in half and finish the first slice now. If ambiguity spikes, rewrite the micro outcome smaller. 1 sentence that states the claim. Progress capture is part of the protocol. Stamp a version, log 1 line in done today, and, if applicable, push or save with a meaningful name. Even a quick screenshot of the visible change counts. These receipts train your brain to expect payoff from the first 10 minutes, so starting tomorrow feels lighter. Now you try, pick the next task you've been avoiding, write 1 micro outcome, run 3-3-4 with the guardrails. When the timer ends, stop or keep going, your choice. Either way, you've already won. The friction thermostat, control difficulty, not willpower. Here's the idea that lets this system survive real life. Don't fight your mood, dial the friction. Your output depends less on motivation and more on how hard the first inch feels. So we'll treat difficulty like a volume knob. On low days, twist it down so you still get wins. On high days, turn it up to capture momentum. You're controlling the load, not your character. Think of friction as everything between you and a visible win. Ambiguity, steps, decisions, inputs, precision, stakes. When friction is high and energy is low, you stall. When friction matches your current capacity, you move. The thermostat keeps that match tight. Let's set 3 positions on the dial. Low energy mode is about tiny scope, tight constraints, and fewer inputs. Shrink the target to a bite you can't miss. 1 sentence, 1 commit, 1 definition. Use templates so you're never starting cold. Constrain choices. Pick from 3 pre-decided micro outcomes, not a full backlog. Reduce inputs. No research, no extra tabs, 1 source max. Timer, 5-10 minutes. Your rule, finishable, visible, and a little boring. Medium energy mode is your default. Normal scope, normal guardrails. Run the 3-3-4 protocol twice. Keep inputs light but available. Accept modest polish. Timer, 25 minutes with a short break. Your rule, progress in chunks that clearly advance the project. High energy mode is where you harvest flow. Enlarge scope and add a challenge. Batch similar tasks, increase complexity once a base exists, or speedrun a feature end-to-end. Introduce a constraint that's fun, timebox sprints, higher word rate, or a test first pass. Timer, 45-60 minutes blocks. Your rule, leverage the wave without burning it out. Now, tools to turn the dial on command. Scope sliders define a micro outcome at 3 levels before you start. Example, writing an intro. Low, write 3 blunt sentences. Medium, write the full 120-word hook. High, write hook plus transition and a teaser line. Coding. Low, scaffold file and render static component. Medium, render props and basic styles. High, connect data and write a minimal test. Studying. Low, define 1 term in your own words. Medium, summarize a page with 3 bullets. High, practice a 5-question recall quiz. Constraints, use rules that reduce thinking. For low days, the 1 decision rule plus only inside the open file. For high days, add speed or count constraints. 400 words in 15 minutes. Ship the stub plus 1 simple test. 5 flashcards in 5 minutes. Constraints cut negotiation. Timers, match the block length to the friction setting. Low, 5-10 minutes. Medium, 25, high, 45-60. Always end with a micro receipt, version bump, commit, log entry, screenshot. That's your payoff. Sprint park method. On high days, stop 1 move early and write a single next tiny move at the top. You park on a downhill. Tomorrow's start has almost no friction. On low days, finish a micro outcome and park on done so you can claim the win and reset. Inputs control. Low days equals fewer inputs. Use placeholder tags and keep typing. High days equals batch research in one container and return to output. You're preventing leakages that inflate friction. Let me show you a day with dials. You wake groggy, 20% energy. You run one low mode pass, rename to V11, write 3 blunt lines, log V11 plus 3 lines. Later, you hit 50%. Dial to medium, run 334 twice. 2 visible chunks shipped. After lunch, coffee hits, you're at 80%. Dial up. Batch 2 sections, outline, draft, quick expand. Park with a next tiny move note. At 4 p.m., you dip to 40%. Dial down, 1 commit and log the hash. You finish with 4 receipts and no heroics. Common mistakes, binary thinking, and ego commitments. Binary sounds like this. If I can't do a full session, I'll skip. That's a thermostat stuck at max. Replace it with, can I do a 5-minute visible win? Ego commitments happen when you promise 2 hours daily and then hide because you miss. Drop the identity stakes. Make starts and visible wins the metric. Another trap, upgrading complexity too soon. Don't add polish, research, or refactors until a base exists. The order matters. Skeleton, function, refine. Violate it and friction spikes. Here's how to decide your setting fast. Ask 3 questions. Is there a blocker? Is there ambiguity? What's my energy band right now? If energy is low and ambiguity is high, dial down. Define 1 unit of done in a sentence and execute. If energy is high and ambiguity is low, dial up, batch or add a stretch constraint. If there's a blocker, change the starting point to a step you control and log the fix as a win. Micro story. A designer kept ghosting deep work on low mornings. We built a low-mode kit, a single Figma template, a daily stub file pre-named with the date, and 3 pre-written micro outcomes. Every morning, they opened the stub, duplicated the template, and added 1 ugly wireframe box. That was the visible win. On high days, they threaded a bigger sprint. Over a month, starts tripled and deliverables increased with fewer late nights. Same talent, right-sized friction. This is where it gets fun. Once you can tune the load, you stop arguing with yourself and start matching reality. Willpower becomes optional because success is scaled. Next, we'll install the 7-day reset so these dials become automatic. The 7-day focus reset protocol. Let's install everything in 1 week. This isn't a grind. It's a sequence that makes starting predictable and progress visible. Day 1, declutter starts. Your only goal is to remove friction from the first inch. Pick your top 2 work domains. For each, set a starter file and a single hotkey or link that opens it. Kill login prompts with a password manager. Place physical cues where you work. Book on chair, shoes by door, tripod set. End by writing tomorrow's first tiny verb for each domain on a sticky. Type 12 words. Create branch. Highlight 1 term. Day 2, prep tools and set trigger stacks. Build 1 stack per domain. Cue 10-second action, visible progress, mini reward. Example for writing. Laptop wakes to draft V1 in full screen. Alarm 901, type 12 words. Type 1 ugly line and bold a subheading. Tick done today plus sip. Test each stack once. If any link takes longer than 10 seconds, shrink it. Add redundancy. Place plus time plus device. Tonight, pre-open tomorrow's starter files. Day 3, run the 60-second reset plus the first 10 minutes twice. Morning and afternoon, pick 1 micro outcome, run the 334 and capture a receipt, version bump, commit, or log line. Keep it light, no research, no formatting. Measure 2 metrics, minutes to first output and visible wins shipped. If you stall, fire the 120-second timer and do 1 physical, visible move. The point today is reps, not scope. Day 4, same as day 3, but add 1 social proof. Post a tiny deliverable to a teammate, class channel, or accountability buddy. 2 sentences, a screenshot, or a commit hash. Keep it minimal. You're training external acknowledgement as a progress signal. If anxiety spikes, shrink the deliverable further. You're collecting receipts, not applause. Day 5, friction thermostat test. Morning equals low energy variant, afternoon equals high energy variant. Low, smallest scope, template 5-10-minute timer, 1 visible win. High, larger scope, batch 2 similar tasks, 25-45-minute timer, clear constraint. Compare minutes to first output and satisfaction after each. The lesson isn't which is better, it's how fast you can dial the load to match your band. Day 6, public microproof. Ship a tiny thing that exists outside your head. A V11 doc section, a static component, a one-page summary, a before-after photo. Keep it honest and small. The brain loves mirrors and public mirrors stick. Add a line to Done Today that includes a link or artifact. If perfectionism flares, remind yourself, V1 exists, polish is V11+. Day 7, review, lock, and schedule next week. Open your Done Today log and list the actual receipts. Count starts per day, average minutes to first output, and total visible wins. Which trigger stacks fired reliably? Which link broke most? Cue, action, progress, or reward? Decide one fix per stack. Create scope sliders for your main task so you can dial friction instantly. Finally, schedule 2 daily start blocks next week with per-written micro-outcomes. Park each session by writing the next tiny move at the top to make tomorrow downhill. A few guardrails while you run this. 1 decision per session. Write the micro-outcome, then stop negotiating. Visible first. If the first move isn't seen, change it. No research in the opening 10. Tag lookup and keep outputting. Reward stay sensory and short. Breath, tick, sip, ding. Common snags and fast fixes. I missed a day. Count starts, not streaks. Do one 120-second reset now and log it. My stack failed. Swap one link, not the whole chain. If time queue slips, anchor to after coffee. If device fails, add a portable kit, cloud dock, hotkey template. Progress feels invisible. Add versioning and microdemos. Rename files early, take a quick screenshot, push tiny commits. What results should you expect? In 24 hours, minutes to first output drops. By day 4, starts feel lighter and you'll have multiple receipts per day. By day 7, you'll trust the chain more than your mood. That's the breakthrough. Motivation becomes a byproduct of engineered proof. Your metrics going forward are simple. Starts per day, aim for 2 to 3. Minutes to first output, under 5 for most sessions. Visible wins, at least 1 per block. If numbers slip, return to the thermostat. Shrink scope, cut inputs, or add a constraint. If numbers rise, bank momentum by parking on a downhill and writing the next tiny move. Run this week once. Keep the parts that reduce friction, delete the rest. The goal isn't a perfect system, it's a reliable start and a scoreboard your brain believes. Advanced tactics make progress addictive. Now that you can start on command, let's make progress feel so good your brain keeps asking for more. We'll compound small wins, add smart social pressure, prime your environment, strip negative cues, run asymmetric experiments, and build anti-burnout cycles so you sustain output without frying your circuits. First, progress compounding. 2 tools, streaks and version ladders. Streaks build identity by counting starts, not hours. Each day you log 1 visible win per domain, your streak increments. Miss a day? Use a streak-safe rule. You can protect your streak with a single 120-second reset and a micro-receipt. That keeps the reinforcement loop alive when life gets messy. Version ladders turn progress into a staircase you can climb and see. V1, V11, V12, V2. Every rung is a closure moment. The combo works because streaks make consistency satisfying and ladders make upgrades obvious. Your brain loves both. Compounding across domains. Treat each domain like a flywheel that feeds the others. Morning writing creates cognitive momentum words on a page that you capture at lunch in code. Commit a stub, which lowers friction for a quick fitness win, block lap in the evening. Use cross-domain receipts to chain motivation. At the top of each domain's file, paste yesterday's micro-receipt from another domain as the seed. Example, paste draft V11 plus problem para into your coding notes with a single line. Ship login skeleton next, same energy. You're piggybacking the last visible win to prime the next start. Weekly, choose a keystone thread, 1 project per domain and ladder versions in parallel. V12 right arrow C, V11 right arrow F, 3 workouts. The feeling of everything is moving is itself a motivator. Social leverage without cringe. Use accountability snapshots, Carc sessions, and done rooms. Accountability snapshots are a once daily proof, not a play-by-play, 1 screenshot, 1 commit hash, or a single sentence. Carc sessions create synchronized triggers, camera on at the odd minute, type 12 words, mute, work, check in at the end with receipts. Done rooms are low chat spaces where the only currency is proof. Post V12 plus problem paragraph, or render static profile card plus commit hash. nothing else. The presence and predictable posting time become a social trigger. Keep it lean so it doesn't become another inbox. Why social proof works without performative burnout. Your brain tracks status and belonging as safety signals. When you post a concrete artifact at a predictable time, you reduce uncertainty and get a small credibility payout, enough to reinforce the behavior, not enough to hijack the session. The psychology flips when proof becomes performance. Variable posting times, inflated claims, or fishing for praise invite novelty seeking and comparison. Guardrails, proof only artifact plus one line, same time window daily, no discussion threads until after your second session, and rotate audiences, buddy, team, private log, so you don't overfit to applause. If you feel pressure rising, shrink the artifact and move the conversation to a private channel. The goal is calibration, not clout. Environmental priming multiplies starts. Create default desktops and app profiles for each domain. Writing profile. Your machine boots to the draft, focus mode on, only the editor visible, cursor at sentence 1. Coding profile. Terminal opens in today's branch, dev server hotkeyed, docs in a split pane. Studying profile. Tablet opens to the current chapter with a notes doc split. Add focus scenes. Lighting preset, playlist without lyrics, a desk state that presents the next verb. When you switch contexts, you switch scenes. Less ramp, more go. Now remove negative cues at the source. Block your top 3 derailers with friction, not guilt. Install a website blocker with a hard schedule during your start windows. Turn off preview notifications on messaging apps and batch checks after your first 10-minute block. Uninstall or bury apps that hijack novelty. For physical clutter, enforce a 1-minute end ritual. Reset the desk to ready state so tomorrow starts on downhill. The goal is to make the wrong thing feel slightly harder and the right thing feel immediate. Asymmetric bets keep momentum fun and low risk. Think tiny pilots with fast feedback. Instead of planning a perfect feature, ship a minimal stub to a private branch, show one teammate and learn. Instead of designing a whole course module, record a 90-second explainer and gauge clarity. Instead of rewriting a chapter, convert one section to bullet points and test flow. You're risking minutes for insights that save hours. The win rate is high because the bet size is small and the signal is fast. To avoid burnout, rotate domains, build deliberate rest, and use finish rituals. Rotation means alternating cognitive loads, writing, then a walk, then code, then admin. You're protecting the same circuits from repeated strain. Deliberate rest is real recovery, not doom scrolls. Short walk, eyes off screens, light stretch, a breathing set. Finish rituals give closure so your brain releases the task. Bump the version, write the next tiny move at the top, log the receipt, and close the window. That sequence tells your system, session complete, which reduces rumination and primes the next start. Specific anti-burnout cycles. Use 90-20 macro loops and 3-1 micro loops. Macro. For every 90 minutes of focused output across domains, schedule a 20-minute off-screen recovery block. Walk outside, stretch, water, no inputs. Micro. For every 3 start blocks in a day, e.g., write, code, study, insert one active reset of 5-7 minutes, breathing set, one flight of stairs, quick tidy that returns the desk to ready. On heavy weeks, apply a taper. Monday, Thursday normal, Friday at 70% scope with a ship and sweep, focus, close loops, small public proof, set next tiny moves. Your nervous system learns that throughput doesn't require constant max effort. Deliberate rest protocols. Build a reset menu you can run without thinking. 2-minute exhale protocol. 4 slow exhales longer than inhales, shoulders down, eyes soft. 5-minute walk rule. Step outside, no phone, focus on distant objects to relax eye muscles. 10-minute recovery block. Water, light snack, 1 mobility drill, and 1 minute of eyes closed. Evening off-ramp. Dim light 60 minutes before bed, write tomorrow's first tiny move, no stimulating inputs. You're protecting sleep, the highest leverage performance enhancer. Let me give you a simple weekly cycle. Monday to Thursday, 2 reliable start blocks per day, 1 morning, 1 afternoon, each logged with a micro receipt. Friday, compound day. Review your done log, run a 45-minute high-mode batch on the strongest thread, ship a tiny public proof, and set next week's first tiny moves. Over time, you'll notice the compounding, more V increments, more commits, and fewer zero-start days. A few quick templates you can steal. Streak card, daily starts, WCS with boxes you tick. One visible win per domain protects the streak. Version ladder note at top of file. V1, V11, V12 with dates and one-line change notes. Social snapshot script. Today, artifact, next tiny move, verb. Focus profile checklist. Open file, focus mode on, cue music, cursor at first verb. Asymmetric bet rule. If unsure, ship the smallest testable slice in under 15 minutes. Common mistakes. Turning streaks into perfection traps, oversharing progress, which becomes performance, and letting tools balloon. Keep streaks humane with the 120-second protection rule. Keep social proof strictly receipts. Keep toolsets boring and stable. Upgrades only after shipping a week of receipts. Identity-based motivation and habit formation. Streaks don't just track behavior, they update identity. Each logged receipt is a vote for I'm the kind of person who starts and ships tiny, visible wins. When the identity shifts, the perceived effort drops because actions that match identity face less internal friction. Protect streaks with the 120-second rule so identity persists even on bad days. Cue, routine, reward loops make this automatic. Your trigger stacks are the cues, the 10-second action is the routine, the mini-reward tick, breath, sip completes the loop. Repetition wires the association so the cue elicits the routine with less deliberation. Keep the loop consistent. Same cue window, same opening verb, same short reward. Consistency matters more than intensity. Neuroscience of automaticity. With repetition, control shifts from prefrontal decide and plan circuits toward procedural and sensorimotor loops basal ganglia. The brain compresses steps, reducing cognitive load and reaction time. That's why a well-rehearsed stack feels pulled rather than pushed. You experience less choice, more glide. Practically, repeat the same stack at the same time of day for 10-14 reps. The start cost falls as the pattern chunks. Upgrade path without breaking the habit. Once a stack fires reliably, make tiny, identity-safe upgrades. +1 sentence, +1 TO-do, +1 minute. Preserve the cue and mini-reward. If performance dips, revert to the last reliable version for a week. You're protecting the identity loop and the basal ganglia pattern until it stabilizes. Here's the payoff. When progress is visible, social cues are clean, the environment defaults to action, distractions are blocked upstream, experiments are tiny, and rest is deliberate, your brain gets repeated, honest signals that say, this pays. That's how progress becomes addictive, by design, not accident. Troubleshooting, when you stall, do this. Stalling isn't a character flaw, it's a signal. Diagnose fast with 3 questions. Is this a blocker? Is this ambiguity? Or is this energy? Once you know which one you're facing, you can apply the right fix in under 2 minutes and get back to visible progress instead of spiraling. Here's a 30-second diagnostic flowchart you can run in your head. Step 1, 10 seconds. Can I take action right now without anyone else or a missing resource? If no, it's a blocker. If yes, go to step 2. Step 2, 10 seconds. Can I describe 1 unit of done in 1 sentence? If no, it's ambiguity. If yes, go to step 3. Step 3, 10 seconds. It's likely energy. If the action still feels heavy despite clarity and access, dial friction down. Let's start with blockers. A blocker is an external obstacle. Missing access, broken build, absent file, waiting on approval. Don't fight it with willpower. You've got 2 fixes. 1, remove the first obstacle. That means you do the smallest action that unblocks the path. Request access with a 1-line message, run the installer, restart the dev server, retrieve the doc link. 2, change the starting point. If the blocker can't move now, shift to a parallel step that still creates a receipt. Draft the email you'll send once you have access, scaffold the empty file, write the doc outline, create the branch and to-do. Log the unblock move as a win. Your brain needs to see you move the ball. Ambiguity is different. You're stuck because what does done look like is fuzzy. The fix is a 15-second definition. State 1 unit of done in plain language. 1 unit of done is a 3-sentence summary of section 2. 1 unit of done is a static card rendering name and avatar. 1 unit of done is 5 flashcards for chapter 3. Write it at the top of your file. Then run a 120-second timer and execute the first physical move toward that unit. If it still feels vague, slice again. Define the first sentence, first prop, first card. Clarity breaks inertia. Energy stalls feel like heavy gravity. You're fine technically, but the start feels uphill. The fix is to shrink to physical motion plus breath. 2 slow exhales, hands on home row, 1 verb that leaves a trace, type 8 words, add 1 to-do, highlight 1 term. Pair it with the 60-second reset. You're not aiming for flow, you're aiming for a visible micro-win that flips the chemistry. Then decide whether to continue or park. Either answer is acceptable once the receipt exists. Now use fail forward when you're in a rough patch. For the next 72 hours, count starts, not finishes. Your score is the number of sessions where you produced a visible win, regardless of scope. A single 120-second receipt protects the day. Why this works? You rebuild trust with proof, not promises. Momentum returns when shame loses leverage. Let's wire if-then scripts for common derailers, so you don't have to think in the moment. Meetings run long? If a meeting ends past the half hour, then I fire a 120-second reset on the nearest task. Open file, type 8 words, log the receipt. Messages explode. If I see more than 5 unread, then I run 1334 on output before replying. Emotions spike. If I feel dread or perfectionism, then I write 1 bad first sentence on purpose and bold the next subheading. Research rabbit hole. If I need a fact, then I bracket lookup and keep typing until the 10-minute block ends. Interruptions at home. If I'm interrupted, then I write the next tiny move at the top, log the current version, and step away. When I return, I start with the written move. Device chaos. If the tool fails, then I switch to a portable kit, cloud doc, template, and 1 verb that creates a receipt. Travel days. If I'm off my usual setup, then I run 1 low-energy stack at odd minutes. Type 8 words, highlight 1 term, or commit a to-do, and log it. Now add scripts for emotional triggers. Perfectionism. If I catch myself backspacing or wordsmithing in minute 1, then I set a 3-minute timer and mandate ugly output only until the ding. I also add 1 fix later, tag and continue. Overwhelm. If the task feels too big, then I write 1 unit of done in 12 words or fewer and execute the smallest verb that leaves a trace within 60 seconds. Shame spiral. If I hear I'm behind, what's the point? Then I run the 120-second reset, ship 1 visible win, and log day protected in done today, no extra scope allowed. Comparison trap. If I start checking others' progress, then I close that tab and post 1 receipt in my private log before opening anything social. Fear of judgment. If I hesitate to share, then I send a microproof to 1 safe person screenshot or 1 sentence update and return to output. Now let's practice quick diagnosis. Ask, blocker, ambiguity, or energy? Blocker example, I can't push, auth fails. Fix, run login, test push, log auth fixed. Ambiguity example, what's the intro angle? Fix, define 3-sentence why this matters, write the blunt version, log v11. Energy example, everything feels heavy. Fix, breath x2, type 8 words, tick box, stop, or continue. This takes under 2 minutes when you don't negotiate. Multi-day stall recovery protocols. 24-hour reset. Protect a single receipt in each domain you care about: writing, code, study. Use the smallest visible win. Type 8 words, add 1 to-do, highlight 1 term. Log each. No extra tasks. Goal, reestablish I can start today. 48-hour rebuild. Add 1 10-minute 334 block to the 24-hour reset. Keep guardrails strict. No research, no formatting, 1 micro outcome. End by writing tomorrow's next tiny move at the top of the file to park downhill. 72-hour stabilization. Run 2 start blocks, morning, afternoon, plus 1 social snapshot to a buddy or private, done room with a single artifact. Reinstall your trigger stacks at odd minutes and pre-open starter files the night before. Boundaries during recovery, cap sessions at enough. Stop when the receipt lands. The point is to rebuild trust, not to catch up. Micro story. A researcher kept stalling at literature review. We ran the ambiguity fix. 1 unit of done is 3 bullets that summarize a single paper. They wrote that at the top, set a 120-second timer, and copied 1 quote with a citation tag. Visible win landed. The next 10 minutes flowed. When meetings derailed the afternoon, they used the if past half hour, then 120-second reset rule to protect a second start. 2 receipts beat 1 big intention. Common mistakes in troubleshooting: trying to solve mood with planning, upgrading scope when energy is low, and fixing polish before function. The antidotes are simple. Planning follows a visible start, not before. Scope shrinks when energy dips. function ships before formatting. Keep repeating, one verb, one visible win, one logged receipt. Finally, give yourself a bias towards swaps, not overhauls. If a trigger fails, swap the link that broke. If a protocol feels heavy, lower the dial. If a metric slips, return to minutes to first output and visible wins. You only need the next honest signal. Everything else can wait. Quick recap, the only things to remember. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Motivation follows action, and your brain pays you when it sees progress. You're not waiting on a vibe, you're building visible wins that trigger momentum. Your core tools are simple and enough. The 60-second reset breaks inertia with one tiny physical move. The trigger stack chains cue, 10-second action, visible progress, and a mini reward so starts fire on low-energy days. The first 10 minutes protocol turns starts into output using 334 with strict guardrails. No research, no formatting, no fixing. And the friction thermostat lets you dial difficulty up or down to match your energy so you keep shipping on real days, not just perfect ones. Your scoreboard is clear. Track minutes to first output and visible wins per day. That's it. When those two numbers improve, everything else tends to follow: focus, confidence, throughput. If they slip, shrink scope, cut inputs, or add a constraint. You're managing friction, not your identity. In the next 24 hours, run 2 10-minute sessions. Before each, write one micro outcome at the top of your file, then execute 334. Capture receipts, version bump, commit hash, screenshot, or a single line in your done today log. If you stall, fire the 120-second timer and perform one visible move. Type 8 words, add one to-do, highlight one term. Proof beats promises. Common snags are normal. If your trigger fails, swap the exact link that broke. If progress feels invisible, externalize it, versioning, microdemos, or a quick checkmark log. If anxiety pops, shrink to the smallest verb that leaves a trace and breathe out twice. Remember the fast diagnosis: blocker, ambiguity, or energy? Fix the right thing in under 2 minutes and move. You've got a system that respects how your brain learns. Clarity beats hype, movement beats mood, visibility beats memory. Use it once, then again tomorrow. Starts compound. Here's the truth. Every day you wait for motivation, you train your brain to delay. Every day you produce one tiny, visible win, you train it to pay you sooner. That compounding is the edge. Small receipts today make tomorrow's start cheaper, next week's focus easier, and next month's output bigger. If this hit, don't let it fade into good idea later. You can change the next 10 minutes. Right now, write one micro outcome at the top of your active file, run a 60-second reset, and ship a visible win. Log it. That's your first deposit. Then commit to the 7-day focus reset. 2 start blocks per day. 1 done today log. Trigger stacks prepped each night. Watch how minutes to first output drop and visible wins stack. Momentum isn't luck, it's engineered proof repeated. Make it public enough to stick. Send one accountability snapshot artifact plus one line after your second session tomorrow. Keep rewards sensory and short. Park every session on a downhill with the next tiny move written at the top. Subscribe if you want the advanced layer, team workflows, shared done rooms, and friction thermostats for groups. And cue the overthinking deep dive next. It slots straight into your first 10 minutes protocol. Don't close the app, do the rep. One sentence, one to-do, or one highlight, then log it. This is how motivation becomes a habit and results compound.